Welcome to Pulse here on, welcome to sports here on Pulse. Well, we're throwing the focus on the Black Starlets team who have started the African Under-17 Championship in Gabon on a good note. Now on match day 1, the Black Starlets won by 4 goals. And this is a combination of the captain, Eric Aya, and of course, Ibrahim Sule. Now, the last time Ghana had such a good combination in terms of a partnership up front was the days of Kwame Ayew and Yao Preko. We remember them very well from the 1992 Barcelona Olympic Games, where Ghana ended up with a bronze medal. Well, that's in the past. This is the present. We're focusing on that game that the Black Starlets are playing against the host Gabon this afternoon. Here with me in studio is Benedict Owusu to take a look at the prospects of the team for this game. Benedict, good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we understand that Paa Kwesi Fabian has made 2 changes to the side that won by that massive scoreline.
Yeah, absolutely. The right back, Alassane, he's actually not feeling too well. He's got malaria, so his position has been taken by Gideon Aqua. And the man that most people talked about after the game, Idris Mohamed Tampiko, also picked up an injury in the game, so he will also not be available for today's game. So rather, Bismarck Owusu has taken his position. So just 2 changes, the rest remains unchanged.
Now, how confident are you in these switches that have been made?
Well, equally, these guys are also very, very good. And you look at even Bismarck Owusu, during the qualifiers, he played most of the games ahead of Idris Mohamed. Idris is one fine player, but I think he's got a problem with his knee. So normally he tries to, some of the games he will try to rest him, and the ones that he feels that he needs him for him to play. I remember a game against Burkina Faso at the Cape Coast Stadium. Because of how the team were so eager to qualify, he had to risk him to play, which he did very well. So I wasn't too surprised he picked up an injury in that game against Cameroon. He's noted for that, but Paa Kwesi Fabian has been using him very, very well, and I think it's helping him. But Bismarck equally is a fantastic player, and if you see that chap play, you'll fall in love with him. The squad that Paa Kwesi Fabian assembled for this very tournament, I remember after watching them in the qualifiers, I told some of my colleagues that I did not have the privilege to watch the 1991, 95, and also the old Black Starlets, but I feel that covering all the national teams, this is the most talented national team I've ever seen.
Now, it's good you mentioned that, because you go back to that game against Cameroon, and it was a lot of pace, a lot of individual brilliance, and I mean, good interplay, a lot of good coordination on the pitch. Now, they're going up against a Gabon side who are already wounded. There's a lot of expectations, of the home fans of this side. How easy do you think this game is going to go, I mean, compared to the kind of performance that we saw?
I think it will just be straight away. The team will book qualification to the semi-finals and also qualify for the World Cup, because I was not really surprised with their performance against Cameroon. I was even expecting something more in terms of the goals, because Eric Aya himself, he's not that typical striker like Asamoah Gyan, like Jordan Ayew. He is more of an offensive player, but he does so well moving up front. And if you have a player like that, he's the Messi-like player. Messi is not a typical striker, but he can pick up players and score, and that's the nature of Eric Aya. You realize almost every time in their qualifiers, he was the one scoring goals. And in the qualifiers, he emerged as a top scorer in the qualifiers with more than 10 goals. So for me, I feel that Gabon won't be a match for the team. Gabon, proud to this competition, played 1 trial game. I think they played against Guinea, which they lost, and they've already played against Guinea, which they lost at the competition. So I don't feel Gabon can pose any threat. It's just going to go like the way we saw against the Cameroonians. They'll win outright and will qualify.
Benedict, talking about that, I want to look at the format of this tournament and the numbers that go into it. I mean, we've got 2 main groups after that. So a team plays 2 matches and they're through to the semi-finals. Observing from what you see, would you want to see an expansion of the Under-17 tournament?
I think there's a discussion that the last time the Confederation of African Football Executives met, they actually tabled this to see if probably going forward they will want to increase the team, so we'll have not just go straight to semi-finals, but rather we'll play quarter-finals, as you will see at the Africa Cup of Nations. But they're also taking into consideration these are young men. These are 17-year-olds that you wouldn't want to stretch them on the pitch, unlike the Black Stars or we see with the other senior teams. So, because a typical example is the under 15. Under 15, we don't play more than 75 minutes. The two halves, we play 70 minutes. Maximum we'll add 5 minutes, so we'll play 75. So they are looking at what these guys are made of, because now they've brought the MRI and the person, they have to justify that this person falls within that age. So it wouldn't be appropriate to play that 90 minutes and also put them through the stress of playing quarterfinal, semi-final. So it's very simple. Since it's a format of qualifying for the World Cup, the first two teams, if you're able to get into the semi-finals, automatic place for the World Cup. And as is going to happen, as we've seen in previous tournaments, in this very one, the first four, two teams from each group get an automatic qualification to the World Cup. And so it's not something that I feel CAF would do anything about anytime soon. Probably maybe going forward, if they feel in terms of sponsorship, if sponsorship comes in and money is being pumped into it, and those that are pumping their money brings a suggestion like that, probably maybe they will sit down. But looking at their last Congress and looking at this very competition, I don't think that anything will change about it, with the reasons they've given, that these are not grown-ups. These are guys that you don't have to put them through the stress of playing more than, how many games? They don't play more than 6 games in this very competition. Maximum is 5. That's if you're able to make to the final or you get to the semi-finals because of the third place. So I think it's good and we should maintain it.
What are you expecting in that game, against the hosts? What kind of game would you want them to play? Would you want them to go pacey and, with a lot of strength from the word go like they did in the first game?
One thing you realize about this Black Starlets team is that no matter how you approach the game, they're able to play to whichever style you
They're able to adapt. Okay.
Exactly. So
right.
in terms of play from the Gabonese, if you slow the pace, they will play with you and still will beat you.
So you want a pacey game?
A pacey game.
And what kind of scoreline again?
Well, not less than 5 goals for Ghana.
5?
Yeah, not less than 5.
Benedict, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so Benedict Owusu coming up with that, that big prediction of 5 goals. He thinks that the Black Starlets are on fire and will deliver a big scoreline again in this game, this time +1 from that first game. Let's see how all of that goes. We'll be bringing you updates later on the Sports Bulletin on Joy News Prime.